What's up, guys? Let's take a little look at the history and how a gimmick belt, like the BMF belt, has turned into a legit title. It all started on August 17th, 2019, when Diaz made his return almost 3 years to the day since he lost to McGregor on August 20th, 2016. Against Anthony Pettis, and after giving Pettis a 3-round Stockton beatdown, it was that time for Diaz to get on the mic and promote his next fight. And it just so happened another OG from the streets had made his long-awaited return to the octagon with a mindset to baptize his opponents that same year. And that fighter just so happened to be in the building watching Diaz when Diaz famously said,
"We've seen you fighting regularly now."
The reason I was off is because everybody sucked. There was nobody to fight. But with this belt, I want to defend it against Jorge Masvidal. Had a good last fight. Good last fight. All respect to the man, but there ain't no gangsters in this game anymore. There ain't nobody who does it right but me and him. So I know my man's a gangster, but he ain't no West Coast gangster.
With that, the fight was booked, and on the 2nd of November, Dana introduced the slick black BMF belt that would be up for grabs at UFC 244 in Madison Square Garden on the 3rd of November, with all the hype behind the fight and the way it played out being very disappointing. For the first 3 rounds, Masvidal hit Diaz with everything but the kitchen sink. But in true Diaz fashion, he ate it and marched on, and at the end of the 3rd round, Masvidal seemed to gas out and Diaz started to come back. But then it happened in between the 3rd and 4th round. The doctor stepped in and stopped the fight due to the cuts Diaz had received during this fight, and this deflated the whole building along with every fight fan at home. How can a fight to find the baddest motherfucker be stopped by a doctor? But either way, The Rock wrapped the belt around Masvidal, and the MMA world moved on from the BMF title, viewing it as gimmick belt for journeymen. But fast forward 4 years, and UFC 291 didn't have a title fight lined up, and the UFC don't like to do a pay-per-view without a belt headlining, but luckily for them, Dustin and Justin was scheduled to headline UFC 291. And with Masvidal having retired, and the UFC not having a BMF champion, the title came up again. This time, it truly was a BMF-worthy fight, with Justin head-kicking Dustin in the 2nd round to capture the BMF belt. And everyone thought the BMF title would just stay with Justin till he retired. But a perfect storm happened where Justin wasn't granted an immediate title shot against Islam, so he was left in limbo, and Ilya refusing to fight any featherweight, and everything looking like the UFC would force him to defend in the rematch against Alex later this year. So this left Max in a limbo also, and the UFC was quick to pick up on this and announced Max would be moving up to lightweight to challenge Justin at UFC 300. And this fight has truly brought legitimacy into the BMF belt, with Max, to the surprise of many, knocking out the BMF champion Justin with 2 seconds left in the fight, in a fight that will likely go down as fight of the year. Now Ilya has done a complete 360, saying he will fight Max instead of Alex next if Max puts up his BMF belt. And if this fight happens, we will be seeing a first ever undisputed and BMF champion. What are your thoughts on the BMF title? Do you see it as gimmick still, or a legitimate title? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, please leave a like and subscribe.